Welcome to the Get Unbusy Podcast. I'm your host, Kate Philpott, and this podcast is all about throwing your busy work out the window. You deserve to stay locked in on the parts of your business that light a fire under your hoo-ha, all right? The passion-driven freedom lifestyle, not being glued to your laptop every waking minute of the day. It's time to build a business that works for you, not one that works you into the ground. So, let's get unbusy, shall we? Hey, happy Friday. We were supposed to have a red weather warning from 6 a.m. to 12. It's now 10 to 11, but they've extended it until 4 p.m. And my next door neighbor's tree is down and everything. So weirdly though, it kind of ties into what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about launching. And a storm is very reminiscent of what launching can feel like. So I really want to go there. And I want to make it way easier for you because it simply does not have to be as difficult as it can feel sometimes when we're launching an offer. We put so much into this offer, we put so much into the launch, and it's a lot of output. So I just want to make it easier for you. So there's a streamlined way that I approach launches, and it means that basically every launch is going to be easier than your last. If you were just launching the regular way, what does a regular launch look like before you start streamlining things? It looks like, okay, workload-wise, there's a lot of moving pieces. You have to get super visible beforehand. There's like planning your offer, planning the bonuses, the resources, what you're going to include, creating the branding, creating the sales page, or updating if it's a repeat offer, planning out the launch event, how you're going to bring the offer to the people, creating the landing pages, doing all the admin kind of bits, like scheduling the emails, writing the most magnetic messaging ever, if you put that kind of pressure on yourself, and so on and so forth throughout not just before the launch, but before, during, and after, to be honest. Like, it's a lot. And if you're doing all of that from scratch, it is going to feel really fucking hard. Money-wise, what does it look like when you are just running a regular launch and it's only you? Honestly, it can look pretty sporadic. Yeah, you can have a great launch, and I'm not saying that you can't, but what happens a lot of the time, and I've noticed this with clients, is people get so busy with all of the moving pieces that they don't promote as much as they wanted to, or maybe they do promote as much as they wanted to, but they're in such a frantic energy that they don't promote it in a grounded way, and it doesn't come across the way they want it to come across. It's just like, okay, tick box ticked, it's a tick box exercise rather than actually communicating with your people in the way you want to communicate with them. And that kind of energy then just repels your people because the energy's off, right? Your daily experience of it. So we've done workload, money, your daily experience of a launch when you do everything from scratch and it's like a whole big thing. Sometimes it can be, fun and kind of we enjoy the chaos of it. Other times, and this tends to be people's experience, is, okay, I'm drowning in tasks. I cannot keep up. I'm not able to enjoy the parts that I usually enjoy because I know that I'm not moving through the launch checklist the way I want to be. And I know I should be moving faster, but like, I'm not going to half-ass things either. And it's just like, it doesn't feel great. So there's that. Oh, and mindset. Mindset is a huge thing that comes up. And this is now a non-negotiable for me whenever I'm launching something, like in a full-blown launch for something, having the time and space for like more mindset work than I probably think I need because it feels very raw, right? You put your heart and soul into creating an offer. You put the offer out there, you put your heart and soul into the launch event, whatever that looks like. And then it's like quieter than you expect. And you're like, oh, the worthiness wound comes up. Am I good enough to even talk about this topic? Am I good enough to charge this price? Am I the authority here? Like, do I have the audacity? Then there's doubt. Like, okay, is there even going to be a point to this? Is it worth putting all of this effort in, or is it just going to be radio silence? And those thoughts can be the death of your launch. So being able to stay on top of those things before, during, and after a launch, game changer. Now, I also want to talk about what it looks like when things are a bit more streamlined and when things are easier, because like I'm not just going to come in and trauma dump on like what launches can be. Like, that's not the vibe here. There is a better way, and I'm going to share that. What do launches look like after? When things are more streamlined, when you've got the SOPs, you've got the templates, like you're not doing everything from scratch. Workload, obviously, significantly reduced. It's more of a regular workload. It might even be a part-time kind of workload, because you're certainly not working late nights or weekends unless you really want to, because overflow and you get to choose. You get to take days off whenever you want still, and you know that things are taken care of, even if you don't show up in live energy on a particular day. Money-wise, you tend to make more money, because while your launch still might have some of those big energy output pieces like live trainings or whatever, your emails are scheduled. Your admin is way more reasonable because you got like SOPs, checklists, automations. You get shit done without having to think quite so much about it. And it's just better. And then your daily experience of it, how fucking fun. Like, it's so much better. The black and white difference between my launches where I've had no systems to back me up versus my launches where I've had like SOPs, templates, automations, all those things, wild. Because I can be out in town getting a coffee with my friend and like the sales are coming through. Or something actually that someone who was in a mastermind with me or a mini mind with me was like, oh, today's the first day of my launch and I booked myself into a spa so that I can put my phone in the locker and like disconnect. So I'm not like checking it every 5 seconds. And I was like, that's a fucking game changer too. But imagine, you can only do stuff like that when you have the space to do that as well. If you're still like, oh crap, I'm not going to get it all done, like, you can't do that. You don't have the luxury to do that. Time luxury, you know. Also, have to touch on the mindset part. If you have a chaotic launch and there's no space, yes, there are still going to be certain mindset things that come up, and it's really interesting how these things do come up. And it's like, oh, am I doing enough? You're going to start questioning yourself. Oh, I'm not working right this second, but I am in launch. Maybe I should be working. Is the other shoe going to drop? Like those kind of things. But the thing is, you actually have the time and space to go into the mindset stuff that's coming up and to overcome that stuff. So this is, I mean, because launching is such a huge part of having a business, this is not something I would ever recommend raw dogging. Like, raw dogging a launch, as in like not having systems to support you through it, is like kind of crazy to me. I'm like, ooh, I wouldn't like, having experienced a more streamlined launch, I'm like, damn, the people need this. The people need to approach it this way. It's just so much better. It's so interesting, like the comparison with the Wildstorm. It's like, you know, there are some people who panic in the storm, as in the launch, finding peace in the chaos. And some people in the middle of a storm are like sitting at home with just pure anxiety. Other people in a storm are sitting at home with a cup of tea and getting cozy and like just enjoying the fact that they can't go anywhere. You get to choose which experience you want for when you launch your offers. And yes, you build a resilience so when you go through any launch, because like it's a big emotional intelligence, spiritual journey. Like, whew, it's a big one. But every single launch can make your next launch 10 times easier, because you get to bank your promotion emails, you get to bank your, you know, social media posts, the messaging, the landing pages you get to duplicate it next time and just make tweaks, making it slightly better each time rather than starting with a blank slate each time. Huge difference. And I suppose, like, just to wrap up the metaphor, a launch doesn't have to be a red weather warning. A launch gets to be like, this is the peak of my business. You know, it's such an interesting one. I see in the industry a lot, like all of these offers saying like, blow up your launch or follow this strategy and it's going to be more passive and all this. It genuinely does not matter what your strategy is. The most important thing is that you have systems, because systems will help you through any kind of launch. It doesn't really matter what kind of launch event you have. Like, maybe it's a free masterclass, maybe it's a boot camp, maybe it's a free 7-day Telegram broadcast, or maybe it's just you going 10x on Instagram Reels, or maybe it's emails alone. Like, what suits you best. It could even be a combo of all of that. But whatever it is, whatever you choose, whatever strategy you actually choose, it's so much easier. People either panic or get excited. And sometimes they get excited and then they overcommit and then it's still a shit show. Sometimes they panic and they panic because they're already overcommitted and it's a shit show. And I just feel like the only way that is universally helpful for everybody who has an online business, who goes through launches, is to make sure that you're systemizing these specific things. This is why I have an entire module on this in Streamlined Coach, my group program, like an entire module with an unbelievable amount of done for you resources. Like, systemizing takes time. It is not a quick fix. It's like, yes, it saves you hours and days and weeks of work, but it takes quite a bit of time itself. So if you can find someone who has done for you resources, done for you SOPs, done for you templates for the kinds of things that you're doing in your business, grab it and run with it, because those are the things that are going to save you time on the journey to saving time, which means it's literally like quantum leaping through your timelines. And that's that. I'll see you all very soon. Have a fantastic Friday and wonderful weekend. All right, bye. All right, gorgeous. That's a wrap on today's episode of the Get Unbusy podcast. If you got some juicy golden nuggets from this episode, I want to hear about it. So take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at MoreToLifeKate, because your girl wants to know. And remember, you're an absolute powerhouse. You can create the life you've been dreaming of, and I can't wait to see you pop off. Chat to you soon. Bye.